Hello there, fellas. This is Udaldor, and welcome to a mod tutorial on a block from Ender.io. Ender.io is a brilliant mod by Crazy Pants. It is fantastic, and it adds a lot of cool things. If you haven't checked out the mod yet, definitely go ahead and check out some mod spotlight. I have got one. I know Vagram also do tutorials on them, but go check out some tutorial or spotlight. It's a phenomenal mod. Anyways, Ender.io adds a block named the SAG mill, and that is what we will be taking a look at today. So let's go. Let's head into a little house here. It's a little dark, so let's turn on the lights. That's also an Ender.io block, the powered light. Brilliant stuff. Alright, so first off, what does the SAG mill do? The SAG mill grinds stuff. You know what a macerator does? Grindstone from applied energistics? Maybe a pulverizer from thermal expansion. You know what they do. They grind stuff up. You give them one item, they grind it, and you get other items. Normally pulverized versions. Okay. So let's take a look at the recipe. First off, you're gonna need to make yourself some basic capacitors from Ender.io. Pretty simple recipe. 2 redstone, 4 nuggets, and some copper. Then go ahead and make yourself a chassis, a machine chassis. This one is made with 4 iron bars, 4 iron, and that gets you the chassis. Now finally, the SAG mill is made with some flint, some iron, the chassis, and a capacitor. No problems right there. So let's get into the SAG mill. Right, so when we open up the interface, we see this. This is the power storage. This can store 100,000 RF. Really cool. Alright, now to see what this machine can do, click the recipes button and you'll see all the different recipes, and you'll see also how many MJs it'll cost. Very, very cool. So, gold ore, for example. With gold ore, if you put this in the SAG mill, it's going to take 360 MJ to process. It'll give you 2 gold powder, a 20% chance of getting a copper powder, so technically for every 5 gold ore you should get 1 copper powder, and also a 15% chance that you get cobblestone. Alright, so you can see some recipes here. It's a really cool thing. Now these 2 things I'll talk about in a little while. Redstone control is a really awesome feature, right? So you can set it to only work when the redstone signal is applied. When the redstone signal isn't applied, you can tell it to never do anything, always do stuff if it can do stuff, and only does do stuff with the redstone signal. We'll leave it as that. Turn on this lever, and we'll quickly see the gold getting processed into gold powder. Now, we should see some copper powder here within a short while, if we are correct. So we'll have a look at this in a little while. Now, the next feature I want to talk about is the configure IO thing. So what do we have right here? We have the SAG mill. On the back of the SAG mill, we have a chest with bones. On the top of the SAG mill, we have another chest with ores. And on the right, we have another chest, empty. Let's go ahead and click this Configure IO button. And we'll get this little thing here that we can turn around, flip, however we want to, like this. It's really cool. And you'll see the blocks on each side of the block of the SAG mill in this little thing. You can turn that off by clicking this button right here. But it's nice to see, to have this thing on, to see where you're working. Alright, so go ahead and right click on the side and you'll change the mode. I just right clicked on this side and set it to pull. What that will do is any inventory to the left of the machine, the lever isn't an inventory, but any inventory that would be here, it would try to pull items from and put it into the SAG mill. Push, it's going to push items into an inventory there. It's going to pull and push items, or it won't do anything. Now, if you have it set to disabled, you can't do anything from the side at all. You wouldn't be able to import or export items in any way. And none is the default setting. You can use conduits and all that stuff, item conduits if you wanted to. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to set the back to pull, and you'll quickly see that the bones get put into the machine. You'll also see what slots get affected by the setting if you hover over it. So pull, and you'll see the 2 blue slots over here. That's the slots that will be affected. Now, we could go ahead and set this to push now, and it would push the bone meal back into this chest. Very cool. And now I'm going to set this to none. Now on the top we have some ores. I'm gonna go ahead and set this to push and pull. It's going to pull the items that can be processed into the machine, and now you'll see that this side of the block will affect all the sides. Orange being output, blue being input. Then puts the items back into the same thing. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this back to pull, and I'm gonna set the right to push now. So now it'll pull items from top and push items to the right. And you can actually see this on the side of the block right here. You can see the orange little things right there. And there you go. Now we can put it in here. And some of the iron, of course, can get pushed up here. Now, if we take a look here now, you'll see we have some copper. And we have some cobblestone. Now, we just get one more copy there. It's a little uneven. Sometimes you get a little more than expected, sometimes you get a little less. Of course, it doesn't actually count, like for every 5 gold ore, give you 1 copper. Every time it processes one, you have a 20% chance of getting one, so it isn't that reliable, but it's a really nice feature right there. Alright, so that's that. Let's move on to the next feature of the SAG mill, which is the grinding ball options. So, grinding balls were added, I think 2 days ago, when recording this video, by Crazy Pants. And it's a work in progress feature. There are only 2 grinding balls so far, but you can add grinding balls just as you can add recipes to the SAG mill in the config folder of Ender.io. There's an XML file for the alloy smelter, the SAG mill, the vat, and also now the grinding balls, which is inside the SAG mill. And you can add your own grinding balls and recipes and stuff there, which is really cool. It's a little more advanced because you don't do it inside the game, of course, but it's a nice feature. Anyways, what do we have right here? We've got a SAG mill right here, set to pull from the left, push to the right. Here we have another SAG mill, set to pull from the left, pull from the right, push to the left. So they will basically both push into this inventory right here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a stack of dark steel balls inside here. Dark steel balls are made with some dark steel, which is made in the alloy smelter, which is another Ender.io machine. Really cool right there. With some coal powder, which you get from the SAG mill. So, pretty cool stuff. And like I said, this slot is also affected by the import function. And it knows that these are grinding balls, therefore they will go into here. Very awesome. Now, if we take a look at the text here, you'll notice that we have an output, a chance outputs, and a power used. What do all these things do? Basically, a grinding ball will allow you to get more than 2 times your ore output while processing ores. So normally, if I would put a stack of gold ore inside here, I would get 2 stacks of gold powder. 1 stack would yield 2 stacks of powder. Now this thing allows for some extra. And if we take a look at the numbers here, the output, the first number right there, that value is the value that decides how much extra I'll get. So normally, if I would get 2 stacks, now I will get 2 stacks times 1.5, which would be 3 stacks. So for 1 stack, I would get 3 stacks. No, wait, for 1, right, let's just go ahead and start this thing, right? If I put some gold in here, you'll see that it uses a bubble, and this one will last for a specific amount of time. specific amounts of processes, that is. Now, this one also, you'll see chance outputs, right? Chance outputs decides, if we take a look here, you'll see that we have a chance of getting copper powder, and that chance is 20%. This grinding ball will double that chance because it's times 2, as you can see. So now we have a 40% chance of getting copper, right? Same for cobblestone. We have a 30% chance of getting cobblestone now instead of a 15% chance. Really cool. So if we take a look here, you'll see we've only processed 8 soon. We've processed 8 ores, which would have yielded 16 dust, but now we have 26 dust. So you get quite a bit extra from this. Now, there is another grinding ball, which is flint, and these are the only 2 grinding balls added by default. And what you can do is you can add your own. Like I said, you could add whatever. You could tell Ender.io that if you use the dark pickaxe here, the dark pick, as a grinding ball, then basically you would have a 100 times chance of getting cobblestone. Whatever, you can tell it whatever you want to tell it, right? So you could create your own things right here. Now I'm gonna put some flint inside here now and some gold. Now you'll see the difference between these values. This one, you only have a 25% extra chance of getting stuff. So, you know, I no longer have a 40% chance of getting a copper powder. I would have 20% times 1.25, which would be 25%, right? No, let's see. That should be, I'm stupid. Yeah, 25. I am stupid. Right, so you can also see that flint doesn't last quite as long. It only lasts for, I don't know how many processes or how many MJs. But this is, you know, a lot cheaper as well. You can find quite a bit of flint, but you can't find a lot of dark steel. You have to make that yourself. And you can also see the output is only 20% extra now, instead of 50% extra, like this one. Alright, really cool. So, that's what the grinding balls do. They also reduce the power cost. This one, if an item would cost 100 MJs, 100 RF, or something, you'll see that now you take the power cost times 0.85, and you'll get the new power cost. So this reduces it by 15%, and the dark steel ball would reduce it with 30%. So it's really awesome things, really awesome feature for the SAG mill, right there. Now let's take a look at this. This is an advanced setup, a more advanced setup, right? It's not really advanced, and it uses some other Ender.io things as well. But I just want to show you what you could do with these features, right? I've covered all of the features with the SAG mill right now, but this is the last example. So what do we have right here? We have a SAG mill, which will pull from the left, right? If we take a look at the configure.io, it's going to pull from the left and from the back. Cool. Right here, we have an item conduit from Ender.io, which will pull everything out of this inventory right here, and it'll put cobblestone into here, and everything else will go here. This alloy smelter, which is set to furnace mode, will pull from the left and push to the right, push to the front. And the front is a pipeline going over to a chest over here. So let's see what happens. Let's say we have automated putting grinding balls into this chest. The machine seals the power, the grinding balls right there, and we have a quarry putting all the ores into this chest. What would happen? Ores here, grinding balls here, or the other way around, doesn't matter. Now, it all works. The gold dust gets put into here, gets pulled into here, and then it gets smelted. Now another nice thing to note is the alloy smelter can smelt 3 items at once if it's the same item. So you will see in any minute now how it will pull a lot more than just one. You'll see that it steals. It just got some when that happened, but it takes 3. And it pushes it. It can push it into pipes because pipes have inventories. And then it all lands over here. Ingus lands here. Cobblestone should land here if we get some, which we haven't gotten yet. But that's a more advanced setup. So there are tons of possibilities with the SAG mill. It's a really awesome block, and I really do prefer this over the macerators and pulverizers and all that other stuff. I really like the features, and the grinding balls is a brilliant thing. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like, subscribe, share the video, and that stuff. And I have Let's Plays. If you want to see those, go ahead and check those out. This is Udaldor. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a nice day. Bye bye.